Hi, my name's Tony Hyatt, and we're going to be talking about energy management today. It's a very big field, so we're just going to be touching on some of the high points of it. So any of these things we're talking about, you could probably spend a career on. So we're just going to hit the basics and go from there. So this is, again, like I said, this is just looking at some of the functions that are loosely called energy management. If you talk to energy managers or anybody in the energy management field, everybody may have a different idea of really what energy management is, because it encompasses so many things. And if you talk to someone on the street and told them energy management, they would probably just glaze over and have no idea what you're talking about, because it's one of those things where you really have to get into it to find out what's going on. So again, I'm Tony Hyatt. I've got a degree in mechanical engineering from Utah State, and I teach some of the courses in the energy management program here at Salt Lake Community College. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to start with what is energy management. Then we're going to talk about energy sources and use, with the idea being that we need to understand a little about energy before we can manage it. We're going to talk about energy opportunities, energy conservation opportunities. We're going to try to understand energy use a little bit better. We're going to get into how do you do an energy assessment to find out how you use energy and how you can use it better. We're going to get into energy savings, basically demand-side management programs, and how we can use those to our advantage to get things done. And then we're going to look at the energy management outlook, how this industry is progressing and what kind of opportunities are available for people and companies to get into this. Before we get started, I want to shamelessly plug the energy management program here at Salt Lake Community College. As you can see from the slide here, it's an associate's in applied science. It's an 18-month program, meets in the evenings 3 nights a week. It starts every August, so a new cohort starts every August. So if you're interested, definitely look into it, because it covers all aspects of energy management, from the basics of energy management to renewables. There's several lighting courses, several HVAC courses. We talk about controls, we talk about modeling, all sorts of different things to do with energy management. Also, if you are looking at just a single course, for example, you want to find more about lighting and you just want to take one course, that's a possibility too. So anyway, it's something to keep in mind. Okay, what is energy management? I've got here 3 different definitions of energy management, because like I said before, it's something that it's just kind of a catch-all for a lot of things. So let's go through each of these and see if we can glean something from them. The first one, the efficient and effective use of energy to maximize profits and minimize costs and enhance competitive positions. If you notice here, this doesn't have anything in it about curbing greenhouse gases or things like that, but it's all about money, and that's kind of how things are. In an energy management field, we need to realize that when we work for a company, we're an energy manager for a company. These energy management projects are competing for money with all the other projects in a company. So they're going to be looked at on a return basis. And the good thing about energy management is it's quite easy to make the grade on a lot of these things, because we're saving energy, we're saving money in the future. A lot of these projects don't just end when you've finished them. If you replace lights in a building, when they're paid off, you're still making money after that date. So the simple payoff doesn't really matter. We're still making money. So they compete very favorably with other projects in the company. The next one, the discipline and measures executed to achieve the minimum possible energy use and cost while meeting the true needs of the activities occurring within a facility. Again, there's a lot of word salad going on here in all of these, because it's difficult to pin down one thing. But something you can pull out of this is that we want to be able to meet the needs of a facility. We don't want to, it would be easy to reduce energy use by turning off the lights and turning off the heat. But that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that we can still meet the needs of the facility with a lower energy use. And again, that's something that can happen. The last one is the predictive, organized, and systematic coordination of the procurement, conversion, distribution, and use of energy to cover requirements while taking account of the ecological and economic aims. And of all of them, this is probably my favorite, because it talks about doing things in an organized fashion instead of just replacing a bulb here, replacing a bulb there. We get a baseline of our energy use. We make a plan to move forward, and we make sure that we meet that plan. Also, we realize in today's world that there are other aims for businesses. They want to be as sustainable as possible, and this allows us to do that in probably the most sustainable way you can is by not using energy. That's the best energy there is the energy that isn't used, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. So we've talked a little about efficiency. There's energy efficiency and energy conservation are actually two different things. They're used interchangeably a lot, but they are two different things. So energy efficiency is when you use less energy to provide the same service, and energy conservation is when you reduce or go without a service to save energy. So there's an example here on the PowerPoint. Turning off a light is energy conservation. Replacing an incandescent lamp with a compact fluorescent or an LED, which both use 75% less energy, that's energy efficiency. So both of those, they're different things, but they're both important. In this case here, it would be best to replace our lights with something more efficient, and also to turn them off when they're not needed. So both of those have a place in energy management. It's not one or the other. We can use both of those to the most effect.